Hey friends, it's Ryan Frank and welcome to another episode of the KidzMatter Podcast. Thank you so much for your time and for your attention. It really is a gift and I am grateful. Thank you for everything that you do to serve week after week with kids and families. At KidzMatter, we are all about encouraging and equipping the global children's ministry community, and that includes you. Now, I'm excited about today's podcast. I'm actually going to be replaying one of the most popular breakouts from the KidzMatter conference last year. And it's from Debbie Rhoads. You know Debbie Rhoads. She is a KidzMatter published author. Last year at the conference, she wrote this book titled The Plate: The Who, What, Why, How, and How Not To's of Burnout. That's actually what today's podcast is about. At the KidzMatter conference, which is just over a month away, she has released another book called Hold My Glitter. And I'm so excited for you to see this new book of Debbie's as well. Debbie is a children's pastor in Franklin, Tennessee. She is a member of our KidMin Academy faculty, and she's just a dear, dear friend to our ministry and to so many of you. So we are very, very grateful for Debbie. And I can't wait for you to listen in on her breakout from last year at the KidzMatter conference called What's on Your Plate? You're going to love it. First, let me thank one of our sponsors for today, Wonder Inc. It's a digital children's ministry curriculum from David C. Cook that teaches toddlers through fifth graders 4 key truths about who they are in God's story. That God knows them, Jesus loves them, the Holy Spirit leads them, and they are children of God. This curriculum includes activities and games that encourages kids to celebrate the wonder of God, while age-appropriate teachings help them connect with God's Word like never before. Wonder Inc. has a super user-friendly online portal. I have checked it out myself. Really is well done. Making prepping and customizing your weekly lessons simple. You can swap out activities, change how long your lessons are, reorganize the different components of your lesson, and more, really with just a few simple clicks. Plus, you can invite parents, volunteers, and kids to join your church's portal for bonus content that supports what you are teaching them on Sundays. So go check out Wonder Inc. That's Wonder, WONDERINK.org to try Wonder Inc. today. You'll receive a free 4-lesson series that gives you videos, worship songs, all kinds of stuff for your volunteers and families, slides, access to the whole portal, and more. So please, once again, go over to WonderInc.org and click Try for Free in the upper right-hand corner to get started. Friends, I hope to see you all at the KidzMatter conference. It is just a month away. If you don't have your tickets, there is still time to get your tickets. Go to thekidsmatterconference.com, get signed up. This is the premier event for children's ministry leaders and their teams. We have 6 amazing, spirit-filled, inspirational main stage sessions, over 200 specialized ministry breakouts, an exhibit hall with over 105 vendors. We call them ministry partners that have solutions to help you lead your kids' ministry. And someone will win a car. We're giving away a Mini Cooper again this year, and it might be you. Last year at the KidzMatter conference, one of our favorite breakouts, because we read all of your surveys, was Debbie Rhoads' breakout titled, What's on Your Plate? We are sharing a replay of that for you on the podcast today. Hope that you enjoy, and I hope to see you all really soon at the KidzMatter conference.
Okay, hey, you guys look, I'm gonna get started. Okay, I'm just gonna go. How many's hot? Okay, so I just want you to know, I'm older now. And the men in the room may not understand this, but the women in the room that are older and more mature like I am will understand that my face might get really red and sweat might start coming down my brow. I'm fine. I promise I'm fine. I'm just burning from the inside out. And it will pass eventually, okay? And I've been doing it for a year, and I heard I have 9 more to go. So my husband's like, isn't this over yet? No, it is not. It is not. My name is Debbie Rhoads, and I am the Children's Ministry Director at Grace Chapel in Franklin, Tennessee. I absolutely love what we get to do. Isn't it amazing? Yes. I love what we get to do. But before we get started, I know that everyone's here because you are either feeling burnout, you are burnt out, you're close to burnt out, you used to be burned out, or you're just tired, right? Or maybe you know, I'm here for a friend. Okay? You're here for a friend. Here for a friend. Okay, everybody, pinkies up. You're going to pinky promise me something. So you're going to repeat after me, okay? Ready? I promise.
I promise.
To be honest with myself.
To be honest with myself.
I'm going to lean in.
I'm going to lean in.
I'm going to stop pretending.
I'm going to stop pretending.
I've done that long enough.
I've done that long enough.
It's time to get real.
It's time to get real.
Okay, you just pinky promised me. Okay? So I need you to lean in to what I'm going to say today. Now, I'm going to say that, what is your authority to speak this? I have lived this. That is my authority, is that I have lived this. When I was actually, have you any of you ever heard of Esther Moreno? How amazing she is. I was on one of her webinars, and she was like, Debbie, I want you to be on this webinar. It's about burnout. I said, Esther, honey, I am. But I was already struggling with it, but I was pretending. Oh, I'm fine. How many of you do that? I'm fine. I got it all together. Everything is fantastic. I am good. There's some spaces right here in the floor. If you And so it was during that time when I was writing a different book at the time, and I was preparing for her webinar when this whole concept of burnout, I'm a very visual person, and so like having like a plate, like, you know, we thought our plate is too full or whatever, and it was like, oh wow, this is like super cool, and it was like, oh, forget that other book right now, do that one later and start writing this one, and that's how it all came about. So I started writing this book, so here is what happened. So I am the children's ministry director at my church, and our church is like really, our executive team is really trying to grow as leaders. They're really working hard to create a leadership that is self-aware, that we're healthy in all of these ways. And so they had taken us, there was 15 of us, they took us at an off-site retreat. And so we're at this retreat, and they decided we're gonna do this activity. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna all sit around in a circle, and you're gonna have a notepad and a paper, and for each person, you're gonna answer 2 questions. We're gonna say, for example, what is your name?
Kim.
Kim. Okay, so Kim, you're the person I'm going to pick on all day, okay? So because you just got, okay, no, that was you that just got up and sat in the chair. Okay, so Kim, we're going to say, this is the wonderful things that Kim brings to our team, and we're going to all go around. We're going to have 2 minutes to write down what Kim brings to this team, all the amazing things that Kim brings to this team. So we're all going to write those things down. We're all going to go around and say those things, but we're also going to write down, we're going to have 2 minutes write down what Kim needs to be improved on. And we're going to go one at a time, all 15 of us. And you have to sit there and listen. You are not allowed to make excuses for what they say. You're not allowed to be like, well, I'm that way because, or well, I do that because. You just have to listen to what your peers say to help with self-awareness. Okay? Great, right? So I'm thinking, oh, this is no big deal, right? Well, I love feedback, so I was like, this is awesome. Okay, so there's 15 of us, so I'm going to get 14 different feedbacks from peers, right? And so it's my turn, right? I'm like near the end, okay? And so I'm like, wait, I've been waiting all like 2 hours. It's finally my turn. So we get to the first part. It's like all the good things. That was actually really hard for me to sit there and like, oh, Debbie. And I was like, it's kind of cool to hear what they have to say, but it's really awkward. I really had a hard time and struggling to hear those things. But then it was time for the feedback. I was like, yes, got my notepad out, bring it on. What do I need to improve on? So I'm about to hear 14 people in the room. 12, now they're reading from their paper. So they're not like going, oh yeah, what they said. They're reading from a paper. 12 of the 14 people said the exact same thing. Ouch. Debbie, you're working too hard. Debbie, you need to slow down. So in these words, Debbie, you're gonna burn out. Debbie, you're doing too much. And I was like, wait, what? I am rocking it right now. My ministry is like so awesome right now. You're telling me that I'm doing too much. Like I feel like I got it all together. And then one of them said, no, they're all different words, but it was basically the same thing. Debbie, you try to act like it's all together, but I can tell you don't have it all together. And I can't say nothing. I just have to sit there and listen to this. It was so hard. And so I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and so it got all done, and I mean, my heart just hurt. And all I could say was, is it weird that I'm writing a book about burnout? I was already writing this book. And and then it was later on, like, I went home and we had to go home and we had to process. Okay, go home and process what you've been, and next week when we come back for our meeting, you have to figure out one of the things of the feedback, and you have to give a plan of action of how you're gonna work on that. Well, what am I gonna pick? I'm gonna pick I can't even remember what the other two were. I honestly can't even remember. They were that insignificant to me. But so I had to really do some soul searching and really, truly be honest. And it was then when I realized that I was so honored that God was allowing me to write a book about burnout, because I'm like, oh God, our kids ministry world needs this so bad. And he's like, Debbie, this isn't for them. This is for you. This is the only way I can get you to listen, is to listen to yourself. And then I was like, oh, that's a lot of self-awareness. I won't listen. I won't even listen to anybody. And so that has been the beginning of a very, very difficult journey for me. And it was very cathartic. And so part of what I'm going to be sharing with you is a part of a journey that I have been through. And so first of all, I want everyone to think of, everyone's heard of the thing, my plate is full, right? So I want you to think about your life plate. Everybody gets one. We have a life plate. So we have first of all, we're going to talk about what size is your plate, okay? So what size is the plate that you're holding right now? So first of all, we have the dinner plate, this is the basic plate, okay? This is the basic one, the basic capacity that everybody has to hold a basic, decent meal, okay? Everybody has that, okay? The next we have the dessert plate, okay? The dessert plate is a smaller capacity holder. It's purposely meant to hold a limited amount, and it's usually the sweeter things in life, okay? And then we have the platter. Okay, the platter is meant to hold an extra large amount of food, but it's only meant to be used occasionally. Okay, VBS season, right? Okay, now I want you to think for a minute. Is my plate is it a dinner plate, a dessert plate, or a platter? How many of you are holding a platter right now?
Can you have all three?
Yeah. Yes. And so what I was realizing, that I'm literally carrying around a platter. Or sometimes, like, I have my life plate, and my life plate is so full, I don't even know what's on it. Like, it's like, when you go to a buffet line and you're just like, oh, this stuff is so amazing. And you just keep putting everything on your plate, and you're like, what in the world did I do? And it's like all mixed together, and you're like, what is on my plate? And then, like, you move the meatloaf, and there's like, oh, there's mashed potatoes under there. Well, how did those get there? Oh, wait, oh, there's corn. Oh, it's all mixed together. Ew. And like, you have all of this stuff on your plate, and you don't even, like, it's like just, it's like everywhere, and then you don't even know where to start. It's everywhere. And so think about that, and that's like what happens to us. They're not bad things. You guys were in the ministry. And I'm going, you're telling me to slow down? I'm doing the things that I love. I love getting to do these events for these families. I love writing new curriculum. I love doing things for the families. I love every single thing that I do. And I just keep thinking every day, I wake up and I'm like getting ready. I'm like, oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do this. I drive my team crazy. I have all these. And so why is this bad? Why is this bad? But then when you like think about it as a life plate, think about a buffet plate that's so overfull that it just looks nasty now. All the stuff that on the buffet line looked great, but then you get it back to your table and you're like, this is so gross. And if you're like me, you don't like your food to touch, then it's really bad, right? Then it's really, there's a whole chapter about that, by the way. And there's a whole chapter about that. And so determining, what size plate am I holding in the season? Because sometimes, we are meant to hold just a dessert plate. There might be a season in your life that you're having a health battle. And yet you're having a health battle, but yet you still continue to try to do all the other things. And you're wondering why you're struggling. You're like, but yet you're supposed to be holding a smaller plate. Maybe you have a child that you're struggling with. Maybe it's behavior issues, or maybe they have special needs, or maybe they're just, maybe you're having issues with your marriage, and you should be holding a smaller life plate and be doing less, but you're trying to keep that regular plate and just keep doing all of the things, and you're just wondering why you're struggling. Or like me, I'm just holding the platter all the time. It's VBS season 365 days a year. Yeah. VBS runs into Advancement Sunday for us, which we have Advancement Sunday, which runs into the Fall Festival, which runs into Christmas, which runs into, we have our big impact training meeting in January, which runs into like a big, huge, like Grace Night special needs thing in February, which runs into, like it just keeps going, Easter, like it just keeps going. And it could just keep going and going and going. So Lifeway, I'd seen this Lifeway, the wonderful high five. That's right. They had released this statistic about how pastors, that 1,700 pastors, we could be louder than them. Thank you. Yay! I love it! It's a competition! I don't know who that is, but I'll find out later. What is it?
It's that one.
Creative attention getters. We'll show them. Okay, 1,700 pastors leave the ministry every single month. 1,700 pastors. This is just from 2019. Okay, that was before 2020. This is just pastors. I just got Jesus bumps. Okay, that doesn't even take into account for children's pastors. You are a pastor. And a lot of times it doesn't go like down to this level. How many of us leave the ministry? And that's what burnout does to us. This is what burnout does to us. It lies to us. Burnout, it sneaks up on us. It's like, whoa, what happened? It's like all of a sudden you're burned out. You don't even know where it came from. It makes you feel inadequate. It's so brutal, isn't it? It's a family destroyer. It's a job destroyer. It's a life destroyer. It has the ability to completely take you out of the ministry. And it is a weapon of the enemy. But it is avoidable. And it is redeemable. There is life after burnout. I know that sometimes we are burned out because there are things in our life. There are things in our life that come onto our plate that are out of our control. There are health things that come up or different things that come up that are out of control. But a lot of the things, as you start assessing things, you're going to start seeing, wait, that was my choice to put that on. Wait, I chose that. Wait, I chose to do that. Wait, I put that expectation on myself. And that's what I started finding, is that my boss did not have this expectation of me to do this much. His expectation was this much. And actually, in my job description was this much. You know, it was like, I'm not expected to do a whole lot, but I was like, oh, I got to do this. To be a successful children's pastor, I have to do this much. If I don't do this much, I am failing. If I don't have that event that I do every year for the past 15 years, I'm failing. Why? And so, but it can be redeemed. And so here's what I'm going to do is I am going to actually give you, I'm going to give you 20 symptoms of burnout. And I'm going to have you count how many you have. And you promised me that you were going to lean in and you were going to be honest with yourself. Okay? And so you don't have to tell me your number, but I want you to just like, okay, God. And I want you to count your number. And then after we do this, we're going to talk about what it looks like to have a clean plate. Okay, now unfortunately we only have like 45 minutes for this session because we could talk about this like all day, but we only have 45 minutes. But let's go. These are 20 symptoms. Ready? Number 1, you have lack of motivation for something that you used to love. Oh, that was of God. Okay, number 2, your productivity is inconsistent. Some days, man, you are getting it done, and the next day, what? Number 3, you begin to only do what you absolutely have to do. Number 4, you often find yourself overwhelmed and anxious on a daily basis. Number 5, you don't even know where to start on your to-do list. Number 6, instead of tackling anything on your to-do list, you shut down and take a nap. Anybody relate? Honey, that ain't me. That's Jesus. Number 7, you are easily irritated and frustrated with family and coworkers. Oh, wow. I heard a grunt from the front row. Carrie? Who's with Carrie? Okay. Number 8, you find yourself cynical about your job and those around you. Number 9, you find it more and more difficult to keep up with basic communication like emails and texts.
Look, I didn't get one. I'm just kidding.
Number 10, your spouse is feeling neglected. If you're not married, it could be like your pet, your family members, your people around you, your roommate. Number 11, your children are begging you to spend time with them. Your children are begging you to spend time with them. Yeah, unless they're teenagers and they... Number 12, your household duties are behind and they stay behind.
Right.
We got 8 more to go. Your household duties are behind and they stay behind. I'm sorry, I'll get louder. Number 13, those that normally come to you are not coming to you because you seem too busy to help on things that you normally would help with. I hate that. I know you're busy, but that hurts my heart so bad when people say that to me. Number 14, which is the next one. People around you start their sentences with, I hate to bother you because I know you're busy, but...
Hey friends, it's Ryan Frank jumping in to thank our friends at Operation Christmas Child for being a sponsor of the KidzMatter Podcast. If you're an Operation Christmas Child project leader, we have an exciting opportunity just for you. We are working on building a panel of children's ministry leaders to join us in an upcoming episode of the KidzMatter Podcast, where we'll jump into the various ways Operation Christmas Child can be integrated into kids ministry. If you're interested in being a part of this discussion, we invite you to fill out a brief survey. You can find a link in the show notes. What we really want to do is get a group of great kidmin leaders like yourself with a diverse range of experience. So, hey, regardless of the scale of your project, if you have participated in Operation Christmas Child in the past, your perspective is valuable to us and this community. And we're giving you an opportunity to share your insights to inspire others to get involved and make a difference in the lives of children around the world. So please check the show notes and let us know if you want to join us on this panel for an upcoming episode of the KidzMatter Podcast.
Number 15, the idea of a Sabbath is the furthest thing from your mind. Does anybody know what that is?
I try.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody know what that is?
Yeah. Number 16, your attitude in general becomes more and more negative. Number 17, you struggle with focus and concentration. Number 18, your sleep habits are all over the place. Number 19, your diet is unhealthy and inconsistent, or consists of veggie straws and goldfish. No, I'm just kidding about that. Or am I? And number 20, your health in general is being neglected or is suffering.
Can you say that again?
Your health in general is being neglected or is suffering.
This is 16 again?
Number 16 was your attitude in general becomes more and more negative. Number 17, you struggle with focus and concentration. You got that one. Sorry. Okay. Did you total them up? How many of you are surprised?
No.
How many of you are heavy? Hurts, doesn't it? Because this is not the ministry that God intended for you. God did not intend for you to walk around like this. Yes, ministry is hard, and there are some seasons that are platter seasons, but you are not intended to live in a platter season every day. That sounds like fun. God has more for us. And like I said yesterday on the stage, is that if we choose to ignore it, and if we choose to not do something about it, we can lose our ministry. And then we are jeopardizing there are children that only we are supposed to reach. And we are jeopardizing that. We are jeopardizing us helping to define their biblical worldview because we're not taking care of ourselves. And I know that you're probably sitting there going, yeah, that's so easy for you to say. No, it isn't. Because this actually is going to take, now you're not going to walk out of there and go, oh yeah, that was great, I can do this now. No, you're going to walk out of here, you're going to be like, this just sucks. I don't even know. No, it can happen, but it's not an overnight. It's something where you're going to have to go, okay, I have 20 out of the 20. Or even if you have I would say if you have more than 4, you got to do something or you're not going to last. And you are not meant to not last. Okay. I just love it. I don't know. We're going to have to sing a song for them afterwards. We're going to sing I Will Survive. That's what we're going to sing. That's what we're going to do. Oh,
Out of the room, like we're dancing.
yeah. I know that I will survive. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so how can you start with a clean life plate? Yes, it is absolutely possible. And so first of all, you have to actually make the decision to be able to do this. And you have to know that it is an absolute process. Now, you have to keep these things in mind. Your priorities, when you start thinking about making these choices, your priorities may not match the priorities of someone else. And that's okay. So you are going to have to be okay with saying, no, this is how I'm going to think. These are things that I love this, but this is what I'm going to have to do. Don't give in to the pressure of making and matching your life plate with someone else's life plate. Because just because someone else can handle it doesn't mean they can. So like, for example, myself, I am an empty nester. My kids are gone. I know, yeah, my kids are gone. And I have grandbabies now. I'm a Gigi. Which is amazing. That's like God saying, well done, thou good and faithful servant here on earth. I fully, truly believe that. I know, right? It's like the best thing ever. It is amazing. But I am an empty nester, so I don't have kids at home. And so I have a lot of time, extra time. And so that's what I did is I filled it up. But you know what I did? I was asked what my hobbies were. What are those things you speak of? I don't have a hobby. I have been, you guys, here's the thing. I am still trying to figure out what my hobbies are. Woo! Woo! I'm still trying to figure out what my hobbies are. I do not know. And so I was filling up and I wasn't taking Sabbath. I wasn't taking breaks. I would wake up in the morning. I have an office at home. I have an office at church. And I would work at home. And then I would work at church. And then I'd come back home and I'd work because, my husband's a workaholic too. I'm a workaholic. And we're just like, let's do workaholic together. And let's just do that. But what was happening is my team, there's two of my team right there. Fabulous. Oh, they all came. I love you guys. I love them. So for example, I'm going to use my assistant, Karen. She has 3 girls that live at home. And she's trying to keep up with me. I was putting my life plate was flowing into her life plate. And I was creating this mess for her and she was doing it. I wasn't putting this expectation on her, but she loves what I do and what we do and what we believe in. And so she was just trying to believe in what we were doing and help me because she wants to. And I look around and she's just struggling and I'm like, oh my gosh, I created this. So I am now burning out my assistant. And so we have to be really, really careful with that. You get to decide how much space each thing takes up on your life plate. You are the one who makes that decision, nobody else. And just because something has been on your life plate for a really long time doesn't mean it has to stay there.
Amen.
Seasons change, okay? And you just consider that it's a life season. I am no longer going to have this as part of my life season. So for example, let's say you've been coaching upward basketball for like ever. Who has upward basketball in their church? Anybody? Oh, nobody. Oh, a few, okay. So let's say you've been coaching upward basketball I've been doing this for years, but it's like a huge commitment and you're like, I have to take something off. Oh, but I love it. Yes, it's great. But you are going to have to prioritize and you might have to that's a season that I have to put aside for now. Now, normally when you put something on your plate, you start with the main dish, right? And then you add the side dishes. And we're going to start with the big stuff first. So here we're going to go. Here we go. You guys ready? This is just, let's see where we go here with this, okay? Now, this can be painful, okay? However, the more you do it, the less painful it becomes, okay? I promise. Thank you. See, they're going, yay, Debbie, you are right. Okay. Okay, so first got your life plate, you have the main dish, okay? These are your non-negotiables. These are the things that you have to have on your plate. These are some examples like your relationship with God, your spouse, your children, your job, ministry, school, your health. You actually decide, what are my non-negotiables? So you make that decision. Nobody else makes that decision for you. Hopefully, God is on there. And a lot of times, there's no room for God. And so we have to make sure that we're doing that. Don't wait until the end to make room for your relationship with God. Add that first. And it is very, very simple for us to neglect our spouses, for those of you that are married. Make sure that you are dating your spouse. And that and your kids, they need you. They need you now. They are actually your first ministry. How many of you went to the mom's full-time ministry class yesterday? The room was 10. That was actually my assistant Karen, the one that I overwhelmed. But that's what. But you know, your family. That's your first ministry before this one. But I'm not saying that you can't have ministry and kids both at the same time. But what I'm saying is that you have to create those boundaries. So that's when you start thinking about those plates that have like those. That's when I think of this. I think of plates with compartments. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I don't like my food to touch. Okay. But so here I am. I am actually, because of the fact. So like when I eat, I don't like my food to touch. But when I am serving, like because of the fact that I am an empty nester, like my home life and my church life are all intermingled right now. And I'm actually okay with that because it just like my husband's job, like we all just kind of work together. But I still found out that I wasn't having any boundaries. I wasn't taking like time off and stuff like that. Okay, so you have your main, okay, of course you have your job and your ministry. Of course, you need to work to survive. However, sometimes you need to evaluate, am I in the right job? Am I in the right place? Is the church that I'm at, do I need to make adjustments in how I'm doing that? Do they actually respect my family boundaries? Am I allowed to have boundaries at the church, or I am just expected to just give all of my time there and I'm not expected to do that? I'm going to be on. I know 100% that right now, and I don't want you to raise your hand, but I know 100% that there are people in this room that are at a church where their staff, they're expected to give everything to them and there's nothing left for their family. I'm not going to tell you what to do because that's between you and God, but you need to do some serious soul searching on what you're supposed to do with that, okay? Because you need to make sure that ministry is not supposed to be that way. Okay, number 2, you got your main dish. Now it's time for your carb. Who loves carbs? Okay, I think of this as like your rice and potatoes in the meal. It's not the main dish, however, it's substantial and it fills you up, okay? So these are the things that you don't have to have, but they're still really, really important. Some examples would be serving at the church, so like if you're a volunteer, being in a life group, friendships. Now, we are not meant to do life alone. Therefore, being in a life group, taking time to foster friendships, okay, that was something that I was really, really lacking. No life groups for me. I actually moved from Virginia. My friend Laura here, we were in a life group together. I moved from Virginia 2 years ago. I am here in Tennessee, and I am still not in a life group. I know everybody at my church, and I'm not in a life group. I'm not close to hardly anybody. I'm close to my team. But like so that's not healthy. We're supposed to do life together. My team are in life groups. I'm like, yeah, let's be in a life group. And I'm not leading by example. But those fostering friendships are really to be example. We are called to be part of the church, not to be consumers of the church, obviously. But so that would be those things that I would consider those like your carb. Okay, so now we have the vegetable. This is the healthy part of your life plate, okay? I also see these things that you need to have on your plate. That you may be able to get them done as a supplement, okay? So like I am not a huge vegetable eater person, so I'll be like, can I just take a pill for that? I just learned that I love cauliflower when it's made into a pizza crust. Or a flatbread that I can create a pizza crust with. I love that. So these are things that I consider the vegetable that you could use as a supplement. So for example, these are your vegetables. Homework, yard work, upkeep of the car. Yard work, I can hire that out. Like housework, I can hire that out. Now I know that we can't always afford to do that, but these are things that you can supplement to other things. But so I consider them like laundry, you can supplement that out to your children. Yard work, upkeep of the car, honey, that's your job. You can do those kind of things. Or you could pay a neighbor boy to cut your lawn, that sort of thing. Those are your supplements that you can do. Okay, your side salad. This represents all the extra things, okay? I would say this is like your kids' sports, music lessons, dance classes, etc. Okay, and now we have the dessert. Oh, I love dessert. Anything with chocolate and coconut is the best, in my personal opinion. This is the fun stuff that we put on our plate. Vacation, fun activities, or simply just chilling and watching TV. And here's what ends up happening. We know we're already super crazy busy, but we fill our plate with dessert. And a lot of times that's because it's a coping mechanism for us. I don't know what else to do, so I'm just going to sit and turn on Netflix and watch like documentaries on like crime murders things. Right, Chloe? She is my fellow documentarian. If I haven't watched it, I'll ask her what's watching. But that's what and we just end up vegging out on that because it's just easier to do that than to actually figure out what we need to do with our life. What did you say that again? Oh, scrolling your phone.
That's the biggest problem for me.
Whoa, what's your name?
Brianna.
Brianna, that was so good. That was really good, Brianna. The second dessert. Second dessert. Okay, that's good. Going back for seconds on dessert. Okay, that's awesome. Or scrolling the phone while you're watching Netflix. Doing them both at the same time. Okay, so I just want to remind you guys, this is a very difficult process. The pressure is real. But I want you to keep in mind the goal. Our goal is to be healthy, body, soul, and mind. And a lot of times we're like, oh, my soul is good. But our minds are everywhere else. Or our bodies are. You get yourself out of whack with the burnout, and then you're going to start watching everything start to fall apart. Your health starts going down. All of it starts to go down. But the thing is that you cannot match your life plate to anybody else. Now, when you get married, has anybody ever gotten married where they went and they picked out like china patterns for people to buy? Okay, back in the day, you would go register and you would actually pick a china pattern. And you would buy this china that you would never use. Okay? And then you would end up giving it away to your kids and they would just sell it. Because they were like, I don't like pink flowers. So that you'd have this, and you would have these matching sets. You do not have a matching set to your life plate. Your life plate is not going to look like anybody else's. So don't try to match it. Don't try. Don't feel that pressure, even on your team. Don't try to match it up. I am going to recommend to you that as you are making decisions and you're going, okay, it's time for me to start putting these things back on my plate. So maybe even visually sitting down and going, okay, this is what I recommend. Sit down, every single thing that is on my life plate, try to take it off, Pretend like you have a plate and you're taking it off and you're writing it down. Okay, I have these meetings that I do. I work out. I do this coaching. I have to do Sunday school curriculum. I have to do this, and I'm doing, like, making this huge list. These are all everything, church things, home things, spouse things, kids things, all the things on your plate. And then you start figuring out which goes back. It is going to be so hard, and I'm not trying to scare you, but I want you to just take the time to pray, God, this is what I have. And at the time, I thought these were the things that I'm supposed to have on my plate. And I know that this is not the life I'm supposed to have. But God, what am I supposed to put on this plate? What do you want me to do? And then he will start giving you the peace, because there will be things. You guys, this was so hard for me because, okay, let me give you an example. My pastor has this really cool thing called the Sermon Club, okay? And so he selects certain people from staff to be on his Sermon Club. And once a week, they get to meet with Pastor Rob. And it's every Monday at 2 o'clock and for an hour. And you actually get to help Pastor Rob develop his sermon series. I was so excited that I got to be part of the Sermon Club. He chose me to be part of his sermon club. And I was going to that, but I actually, as I was redoing my life plate, that was one of the things I had to leave off. Because, and I'm thinking, well, it's only an hour. What's one more hour? You start adding those hours, it's only an hour. So my boss was like, I seen you haven't been coming to, my family pastor, I seen you haven't been coming to sermon club. And it's not mandatory. I don't have to do it. But he knows, because he knows how much I love it, because it's such a big deal to me. He knows how much I love it. And so that was something that I love so much that I had to give up. But you know what? As I prayed about it, I'm actually okay with it. I don't, at first I was I grieved a little bit. But now I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that. And so as you pray, you'll grieve a little. But then you're like, I'm okay with that. And then you start feeling freedom. And you start feeling like, okay, and you start to come out of it. And then sometimes there's a pull to ooh, I'm feeling free. I'm feeling free right now. I have all this extra margin. I can do all these things. And then you get I'll go ahead and take that back on. You got to resist that. You got to definitely resist that for sure. But when you're healthy, body, soul, and mind, that is when God can use us at his finest. He can say, this is what I have. I've been waiting for you to finally give this up. I've been waiting for you, because now you can hear me. Now there's no more chaos, and you can actually hear what I have to say to you. I'm going to go ahead and pray for us. And I'm going to stay around. I'll stay around as long as you need me to. And they might make us leave because there's another class or something. Oh, there's lunch. And then at 2:30, they're gonna. I'll be in. They have us in the KidzMatter Marketplace. Will be there as well. And so if you ever want to talk, but we're gonna pray. Lindsay, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to make a promise to you, because this is so passionate to me. I'm so passionate about this. If you want someone to pray with, I have my business card is over here, my phone number, my contact number. You can contact me on social media, whatever. I'm Mustache Man Wife on Instagram. If you've seen my husband, you'll understand why I am Mustache Man Wife. You'll understand why. Facebook, Instagram, I'm all the things. But I would be honored to be able to pray with you. And to be able to encourage you in this way. But let me just pray over us, because God has something amazing for us. Dear God, this amazing group of leaders, Lord, they are tired. God, you have so much for us. And God, we're ready to receive it. And God, right now, you are cheering us on, even more than they are. And God, we just receive it. God, I pray you help us to do the hard work. Help us to lean in. God, help us to be honest with ourselves. Help us to make really tough decisions. Because, God, you have so much better, so many better things for us. And we trust you. In your precious name I pray. Amen. Okay, we got to sing I Will Survive. Or other song. At first I was afraid. I was petrified. And thinking I could never live without you by my side. And then I've spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. And I was wrong. And I been wrong. You now you're back from outer space. I just walked in. On your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. Yeah. Oh no, not I. I will survive. As long as I know how to love, I know I will. I got it. Yay.